Welcome back to Set Streets and Eats, guys. I'm Chris Bauer. Today I am in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. If you don't know, it's up north of the two big cities, Milwaukee and Madison. And it's like a resort town, like a Branson, Missouri, or Gatlinburg. It's got a lot of the same type of features, a lot of the same type of tourist traps. But I digress. I'm standing in front of a big boy. And this is a special big boy. This big boy has the world's largest collection of big boy statues. So I thought I'd stop in, grab a double-decker, and check out their collection, and maybe talk about a little history. And I hope you guys will join me. Let's go eat. So you've no doubt seen big boy restaurants, probably even eaten at a few throughout your life. And I'm going to give you a brief history because I'm actually working on a much bigger history video of Big Boy. Back in 1936 in Glendale, California, a man named Bob Wyan opened a little burger stand. He called it Bob's Pantry. And he enjoyed making burgers and just had very typical things of that time on the menu. But about 6 months after he opened, a customer came in and asked him if he had something different. And Bob had been toying with the idea of a double burger, not just throwing two patties onto a burger, but he cut his sesame seed bun, instead of in half, into thirds, and he made two burgers and stacked them on top of each other, and the Bob's double-decker burger was born. As you no doubt can guess, it was a huge hit right away. And even within a year or two of opening, he decided to change the name of his little burger stand to name it after the Big Boy sandwich that he was calling, and he called it Bob's Big Boy. So not long after he had named the sandwich and his restaurant Big Boy, he had a customer came in that he knew from a previous job that he had named Ben Washam. Ben Washam was an artist. He would later work for Warner Brothers as an artist, but Bob commissioned him to draw a mascot called the Big Boy. And he had a little neighborhood child named Richard Woodruff that would come by his burger stand each day, and he would trade him little chores, sweeping up and straightening up, maybe some dishes. So, and he would trade them for burgers. It was just a little kid in overalls that ran around, and Bob pointed at him and to his buddy Ben and said, "Base the mascot off of him." And thus the Big Boy with his little checkered overalls was born. There's been a lot of different versions of it, but they've all basically had the same spirit. I'll put up a couple different versions throughout the years, but this was the Big Boy mascot and burger really fueled the growth of Big Boy for sure. Over the next few decades, obviously Bob's Big Boy would become Elias Brothers Big Boy and many other Big Boy as they franchised out. The idea of the franchising was to put your name in front of the Big Boy when you franchised it, which ended up being over 60 different chains of Big Boy restaurants. At their peak, they had over 1,000 restaurants worldwide. That was back in the late 70s, early 1980s. Today, there are only 59 left. And of the original Bob's Big Boy, there's only 4 left. So they're getting fewer and fewer, but they are an American staple. They scream Americana. I've always loved Big Boys. I grew up in Michigan, so we had the Elias Brothers Big Boys. Those were my go-tos. And this one here in Wisconsin Dells is because it's more of a tourist town. They have a shtick, and that, of course, is all these Big Boys outside. So let's check those out. I mean, the big boy mascots, he's been in movies and TV shows. Austin Powers immediately springs to mind. He was an entire rocket ship. He's such an icon of pop culture. There's been comic book series. They would, of course, have many kids' meals over the decades that have given different versions of Big Boy. There's been so many different Big Boy toys, banks, and clocks. These are notorious for being stolen out in front of different big boys by little pranksters that are wanting to put the big boy on City Hall's lawn, things like that. But the big boy has become such a part of the American culture. We know it on sight. Even if you've never eaten there, you usually know where it's from. It's just a really, really cool mascot. I would argue it's up there with Ronald McDonald. We've got the giant big boy chair. You got the Wisconsin big boy chair. I love this old sign. That is cool. That's definitely 60s or 70s, it looks like. Man, that's neat. I like that. That looks pretty awesome. It's like 3D. Of course, we got this, your standard big boy. This is the ones you really still see today, even outside of their restaurants. And then we got us a custom one. Grocer Juge. I'm going to guess that's a alcohol, or I have no idea what that means. Post below in the comments if you do. Around back, we got some different kinds of signs too. We got some Mopar and Pennzoil, Chevy, Sunoco, another big boy sign. The Big Boy Hamburger, 59 cents. That's an old one. That's pretty cool. And then we got us a poster specific for this restaurant. And we got a greaser big boy, which totally works for his pompadour, actually. I like that. And another classic. We got the Big Boy is Back. And this is an older design, so this rug's a little bit older, or they've just, it's a reprint, but that's pretty cool looking too. And of course, we're in Wisconsin, so you gotta have a Green Bay Big Boy. Got to. I do notice that all the outside ones have definitely been screwed down. Smart move. They have no doubt had people attempt it. We got a wall of fame, so to speak, just people taking pictures in front of the big boy. That's a very famous picture of John Waters and David Lynch there in front of the Bob Zugoy in Burbank. But yeah, they got a lot of other pictures. There's a big boy collection. There's the old big boy comics. I saw one of these at a comic convention not that long ago, actually, and they wanted $800 for one of the issues. Yeah, that's really cool. I love that. It's a cool wall. Right next to it, we got Big Boy Batman. That's awesome. Love that. Check these out. He's got a gun on that one. He's a minion. These almost look handmade. We got the Milwaukee Bucks. We got, what's his face from Popeye? What is the cheeseburger dude? Post below. I have failed. Of course, Popeye. Evil Knievel Elvis. That kind of does look like Elvis. Evil Knievel Big Boy. I love that. Then we got Charlie Brown and Snoopy. SpongeBob. Yoda, look at him. Then Fred and Barney Flintstone. There's the original Bob's Pantry. Right there in Glendale, California. And then this old, looks like wood carved sign. That's awesome. Man, wish these weren't so hard to see. We've got Winnie the Pooh Big Boy, Piglet Big Boy, and look at this Ronald McDonald Big Boy. I love this one. Yeah, that's cool. And Burger King Big Boy. Why do these have to be next to the window? Come on now. And then Bert and Ernie Big Boys. And then we have I guess, Ringling Brothers maybe? Got the Clown Big Boy from Ringling Brothers. And then we have an Elias Brothers, which was the Michigan-based franchise chain of Big Boys. And another one of those hand-carved signs. Love that. Here we go. We got Jason Big Boy, Frankenstein, Dracula, Jack Sparrow, Day of the Dead Big Boy. Post below if you know that one. I am not familiar. Then we got some classic holidays. We got Easter Bunny, the Pilgrim, Santa, St. Patrick's Day, Mr. Peanut, and Kool-Aid Man Big Boy. I love that one. I got him dressed as 007, obvi. And juggling different vegetables. These were some of the things I was talking about. These were all the different franchise companies. Like I said, that one time they had almost 60 of them. This one, Yoda's. That's awesome. Yoda's Big Boy. It's on Tatooine. He's going to open the location there. That's cool too. That's a takeoff of the original Bob's Big Boy there in Burbank, the sign. And we got some silver ones. We got Elvis up there. Underdog Big Boy. And some cool Wisconsin and Burger Boy. That's another one. Look at this one. Beating up Ronald. I like these ones. These remind me of the old Elias Brothers ones. So that is Richard Woodruff all grown up. He was the little boy in the overalls when he used to run around Bob's Pantry. And these, of course, are the different logos. That was the original, based off of Richard Woodruff. And then they've just kind of changed throughout the years. Frisch's still uses theirs in Cincinnati. And then they've kind of all kept the same spirit, but as you can see, just like with any other fast food place, they've gone more minimalist for the latest logo. We got an old menu here. That's awesome. We got more signage. And the Cop Big Boy down here at the end. I love this. Big Boy instead of the Statue of Liberty at the end of Planet of the Apes. That's really cool. We got a Bluey Boy and a GI Big Boy. We got a Hippie Big Boy. Oh, look, we got some old collectibles up here. We got the Dolly, which was his sidekick, and his puppy dog plush. That's an old Mank. Got the Funko Pop with the restaurant. That's cool. Oh, that one's based off the original. That's awesome. Got a Miss Betty Boop done as Dolly. And we got the Colonel himself. Also, don't forget you can always buy cool stuff at Big Boys. They always have a store. Some of them have a few things, some have a ton. I'll be looking at that before I leave. I got the cheese curds with ranch, because you know when you're in Wisconsin, you gotta have those cheese curds. Oh, those are good. Oh man. Oh yeah. This looks incredible. So the Bob's Big Boy had a red sauce that he had learned the recipe for at a previous job that he had. And it still has it today. However, when he started franchising out into the US, franchisees took some liberties and they came up with what I guess you would now call a Big Mac sauce, which is basically a Thousand Island dressing based sauce. I don't know if it's the exact makeup of it, but that tends to be what's in every other Big Boy sandwich other than the Bob's Big Boy. And I will say the red sauce is a little different. I do prefer this sauce over the Bob's Big Boy sauce, but it's still, both are really good. Fantastic. They also have a Prince Big Boy by the front. That's awesome. What we got here? Well, guys, that was a delicious Super Big Boy combination, even more so than normal. I got a few things. Got a glass that says Big Boy Wisconsin Dells on it, and a couple other little tchotchkes there at the Big Boy store. And had a good lunch. Got to see the largest collection of Big Boys. Now, there's probably a caveat there, because I bet one of you collectors out there has a bigger collection. But they have a lot of big full-size Big Boys, which those can take up a lot of space in a collector's house or room. So they might actually have the largest collection, but most of their Big Boys are small. And they do have a unique collection because they're styled in all those different ways. But it was really cool. I enjoyed the meal and the experience of eating here. Recommend it to you guys, and always get a few Big Boy items on your way out. That Big Boy mascot, he looks good on a shelf too. See you guys in the next video. Bye now.